In my last video on my 86 Olds Cutlass 442, I did my cheap $18 paint job, and I had some pretty severe orange peel and a lot of rough paint to deal with. So in this video, I'm attempting to correct that with lots of wet sanding, compounding, and polishing. So let's get to it.
Getting the polishing started here. So I started with 1500 wet sand, just doing this little section here. So gave it kind of just like a quick sand by hand, obviously, and then some cutting compound, and it looks pretty good. I mean, you can definitely still see the orange peel. I guess I just have to decide what's an acceptable level. So I'm gonna have to go to a more aggressive paper to really smooth this down, but looking better already. I got my helper, just got home from school. Finally, get some help here. Anyway, we did 1,000 in this area here and here. Polished it up. It's not perfect. Never was gonna be. This is probably as good as I can do. Had a little issue. Burned through on this edge, the paint, and actually burned through a little bit over here too. I don't know how I did that. But I'm just gonna leave it. It's very small. You probably wouldn't notice it. Maybe you would, unless somebody pointed it out. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet. I'm just gonna leave it for now. Thanks, Niti. I think it's looking pretty good, right? What do you think?
Looking good.
Yeah, it's looking real good. Okay, I'm going to take that other side. I'm going to attempt to show you the orange peel situation on the roof, which is quite bad. You probably see it there. It's rough. So I did do one section on the roof over here. I think I used 600, then 1,000 and 1,500, and it does get a lot smoother. But you can still see some tiny little remnants of the orange peel. Maybe the corner there is better. So doing this by hand is really slow process. So yeah, I did the trunk lid, and especially this side I'm pretty happy with. Got to do a little bit more on this part and on this side too, like especially over here. I did this panel. This, I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, so mistakes were made here, and it's all my fault. You know, I got very excited the day I was painting. I had I had a decent amount of hours to work in, but I didn't have an endless amount of time. So I was trying to get it done. I ended up spending a lot more time taping than I thought I would. It was like 3 hours. And first time using this gun, I should have, you know, I was stupid. I was rushing through. I was not being smart. I never used the gun before. It was a brand new gun. I should have done a little bit more research on how to set up the gun. I tried reading the instructions that came with it. It wasn't really making sense to me. I think I got the flow control incorrect, the fluid flow. You know, after this was all done, trying to figure out what I did wrong. There's a million videos on YouTube on how to set up this gun to get good results. I don't know why I didn't think of just doing that, because really what I did was I just really made things a lot harder on myself, because instead of just a light sanding and buffing, it's turning into like a major process now, very time consuming. So I did get some of the round sanding discs. Now this is like another thing. Of course, it's not easy. So I have this air sander, this DA, and it's a 6-inch disc, and it's peel and stick. So I was able to find peel and stick 6-inch 800 grit, but that was it. That was the finest grit. So then I found 1,000 and 1,500, but this is the hook and loop, otherwise known as Velcro. So then I have this machine that has the Velcro, but it's a 5-inch. So I'm gonna hopefully use the 6-inch disc on the 5-inch. Give that a little try. Hopefully that doesn't destroy anything. Just to try to speed this up. So that's what I'm gonna be working on next, and I will bring you back. We'll make a little progress. I'm done with the 800, 1000, and 1500 wet sand. The idea was to smooth out, knock down all of those ridges from that horrible rough overspray and orange peel. You can still see there's a lot there, but hopefully it's good enough. Ultra cut and the wall buffing pad. I'm gonna give that a try, see how it goes. After a quick pass with the buffer, it's looking acceptable, I would say. Still gonna need to go over it with polish and wax, but just after the initial compound, I mean, that reflection looks pretty good. So is the roof looking a lot better than it was. There's one section over here that's still looking kind of rough. I'll probably do another round of sanding and polishing, but the rest, you know, for the most part, looks pretty good. So it's been a few weeks. Weather got bad. It's getting dark, 4:30 every day, holidays and whatnot. So finally getting back on the Cutlass again. So where I'm up to now is I already did this. Now I'm doing the wet sanding of the door and the rear quarter. And the current program is I've got 1000 grit for the sanding machine and 1500. So I'm doing with this orbital sander, whatever this thing is, 1000, then 1500. And then by hand I do 2000. And then I top it off with the 3000, all wet sanding. Then I polish with the cutting compound. Seems to be the best results, so hope to get the rest of this side done today. And then I have to go over some of the areas I already did because, you know, I only got up to maybe 1500 and you could still see lots of sanding scratches. So I'm gonna go over that with the 2000 and the 3000. Pretty much everything I already did. Polish it again. This is definitely the most time-consuming part of paintwork for me, anyway. Was all of the wet sanding and polishing. So what I'm trying to look for here is like the nice, even dullness. You know, you can see down here, bit of orange peel showing through. Also definitely in this area. So I might go over this again, just because it's a very visible part, like when you're walking up to the car to open the door. Just to give a little update on how it's going. So, top is compounded. I mean, the lighting is really pretty terrible in here, but I mean, I think it's looking better for sure. Just finishing up the trunk, then onto the side. So I went over the side, really, yeah, the trunk, the side. I did everything again. Man, the thing I learned the most today, spending hours doing this, is that my garage lighting is absolutely terrible. These Amazon lights, they really don't put out a lot. I need way more garage lighting. I've got this thing. It looks bright in person. It's super, super dim. It's like I'm working in the blind here. So working in the dark. But side's looking much better. Still got to polish. You know, roof is good. Trunk lid. It's hard to see. But slowly, 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 we're getting there. The other thing that's going on is the cheap Hobo Freight polisher is starting to crap out. I don't know if it's the variable speed wheel or whatever, but it's cutting out. Hasn't even ever been used that much. Anyway, I really want to just be done with this, but I just gave a little quick pass over one part of the hood. The hood is something I never really touched. All the clear coat, this is, you know, from when it was previously painted, had peeled off the hood. So next day here, so getting out in the sun, looking pretty good. Decided to just do the whole hood. This was tougher to do than the paint that I put down. This is old base coat that had been, you know, exposed when the clear coat peeled off. And I had to go over everything twice and really dig in with the compound. It took a lot of compound. It really like soaked it up or something. But it's, you know, definitely better. It's a little rough, not perfect. And over here got worn through. I think this is primer showing. But, you know, I still got to polish it, but definitely a lot better than it was before. This side looking pretty good. Roof, I mean, this is probably as good as I'm willing or able to get it. As far as compounding goes, hopefully the polish helps it out a little bit further. We'll see. But overall, I'm pretty happy. It definitely has like a light orange peely look, but the factory car would too. So this was a pretty good learning experience, I think. I mean, definitely mistakes were made. It definitely is not a perfect job by any means. The thing that is good is that it definitely looks a lot better, in my opinion, than when I started. A whole lot better. It actually gives me a whole new feeling about this car. Like, I was really pretty down on this car. You know, probably looking to just fix it up a little bit and sell it, but now that it's looking so much better, it kind of motivates me to want to keep it and keep going, you know. You know, the roof, still got to polish it, but there's some rough spots. I mean, I think overall it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be acceptable, let's just say. I did burn through, you know, that happened like so quickly, so easily. I had a little burn through here. I could go back and touch, you know, here too, touch these things up. It's just minor stuff. I got to get the window trim back on. I have the clips for around the top and the sides, but down here, somebody had just silicone the bottom trim on. I need to figure out what kind of clips I need down on this part to get the bottom trim piece on. So gonna work on that. It's gonna need polishing, waxing. But I think I'm gonna end this video off here. It's getting pretty long. So I will do another video if I ever get it all like pretty much detailed out. It's just a lot of work, takes a lot of time. So anyway, thanks everyone for hanging with me on this one. I know it's been a long road, but you know, I think it was worth it. Maybe it will inspire somebody. I'm not saying to do things the way I do them, because you know, this is just the way I did it. I would say do your research and, you know, really know what you're getting involved in, because it's very time consuming and it can easily get very overwhelming, and it was at times. But you know, take a step back and then get back to it. Oh, another thing I got to deal with, somehow I broke this mirror. If anybody knows how to fix this situation, I have no idea. It's hanging on by a thread. It wasn't like that when I took it off. I don't know what I did. I must have cracked something when I was reinstalling it. Who knows? Anyway. Rubber is pretty shot too. And there is some rust. But I do have a Harbor Freight flux core welder, and the plan is to fix as much as I can myself. I'm not really good at welding. I haven't really done it much, but this car will give me some good practice. Side. Looks like maybe some kids with bikes knocking into the car. I don't know if they're in the clear coat or if they're all the way through. I guess I can try to oh yeah, for the key marks, I regret even touching this. I'm not good at body work. Blending areas that had clear coat with no clear coat, it's just really, really obvious how bad that is. And the paint, I put the paint on real thin on this area when I was trying to wet sand and polish it. It kind of just bled right through. If you see this in this, I don't know. I think I need to go for a finer grit sandpaper, because whatever this was, 1,000 or whatever it was, I'm trying to polish it. I think I'm almost done with the prep. Got these quarter windows all cleaned up. Got the 442 decal removed, sanded that. There was a little bit of peeling clear coat here, sanded that down. Mirror and all that off. I'm gonna leave these. I gotta draw the line somewhere. This is turning into a huge thing. I took the taillights out just so, you know, masking around them would have been tricky. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and see you next time. Now I gotta go move 32 cars around to get the Buick back in the garage.